Shop stream. We are streaming our Riftbound Nexus night. We got a really great group of people here. My name is Ed, and this is.
I'm Michael.
We're streaming here at the People's Card Shop. Come check it out. So yeah, we're actually mid-match right now. We have two players, Jimmy and Malique. Jimmy playing Misfortune, and Malique playing Master Yi.
Last game did go to Master Yi, so right now,
No, went to
went to
Misfortune. Yep.
So Misfortune's up one, Master Yi is down. We have our Misfortune here. He's on, what's the gear called again? He's on the Aurora deck.
Yeah.
And the version that he's playing is he has the smaller gear package inside. That the treasure package, when the one gear goes to his hand, he'll get to draw a card. So instead of having those early game spells, he's trying for those early game gears to give him draw and hopefully get that Aurora up and running before Master Yi takes control of the early game.
Yeah, I think that gear package is really good for just like overall consistency, but not having a bunch of like the push spells and things like that could be detrimental. But in a matchup with Yi, may not be the most powerful thing we could be doing. So I like the just trying to rush to Aurora kind of strategy.
What are the battlefields? So the battlefields we have. That one is the both players start with an extra.
Oh, it's double obelisk of power. That's crazy. That's a crazy start. Double obelisk of power. That means both players just have infinite mana at the beginning.
I do think in this matchup, if Misfortune does not get the Aurora, that mana is way better spent on the Yi.
Yeah, because it can be a little more aggressive, right?
Yeah.
Just having more creatures available, that's a lot more proactive plan.
We're going to see how the Master Yi player does his first turn here. With all that extra 5 mana. If he can do 2 drops right now and be able to push 1 into each on the following turn. Oh, he only has 1, which is a little unfortunate. Not as aggressive as he would like.
Yeah, can't really abuse the 5 mana he got this turn. So let's see what we can do here.
Yeah, that would have been the up for Master Yi, is being able to get multiple units on the field this turn.
Yeah, just setting up a double conquer so early would be really, really advantageous for Malique.
Yeah, because going in points of 2 means you win 1 turn sooner.
Yes.
So we have our Mind Splitter right out the gate with his
Dang,
7 mana. He's going to rip a card. We have Sabotage, Charm, Predator, and the White Flame, and that's the one we decided to get rid of, White Flame Protector.
Okay.
White Flame Protector, when he comes onto the battlefield, he targets a unit, and he gives it +8 might for the turn, which is a huge swing. What we have to look out for here is Mind Splitter is only a 7 power card, so in our next turn, going into conquer a battlefield, we are very weak to him dropping the Dead Bloom Predator on us if we don't have any battle tricks in our back pocket. And as Misfortune, we do have some, but because we saw him running the gear package, he's probably not running those. He's probably running the gears and some more early game pushback removal spells.
Okay, and the Stalwart is just getting the conquer here.
I agree with putting the Poro in to get the point, because if he puts the Mind Splitter to contest the Poro, you just drop the Dead Bloom Predator on him. So they're kind of doing a little game of chicken here, where he's putting his Poro in, and he's going to push up his Mind
the Stalwart
Splitter.
Poro really got that conquer in.
So we see his whole hand, Sabotage, Ride the Wind, one of the package for the gear, the Gust, and the Ramp. So that gear is the one that it taps itself and it returns a gear or friendly hidden card from your battlefield to, or your base to your hand. So just having that on its own is nothing. So we are choosing to recycle the Ride the Wind to the bottom of the deck. That's probably what he was going to go. He's going to attack the Poro and Ride the Wind, the Mind Splitter, away from the Dead Bloom, but now he does not have that option anymore.
But the biggest thing about the Sabotage right now is we know that Jimmy does not have Dazzling Aurora in hand. So
True.
yeah, so even though this is a great start, has a big might unit on the field already, it it could be scary. Him not having Dazzling Aurora, it might not matter all this ramp.
Honestly, without having more cards in hand, saving the crystal for maybe a until we actually are able to draw cards, because right now our hand is kind of dead. We
Yeah,
have
yeah. I
we have
think
Gust and one part of the package, and that part of the package doesn't do anything.
I think the yeah I think the one mana is a little negligible because the double obelisk of power already got us ramped up. I think drawing cards is where you needed to be.
Yeah, might as well just play the gear. We have the mana, get it down. Okay, so we basically know both players' hands. So we're on top deck mode in this matchup versus each other. We have the Clockwork. Is it called Clockwork Golem? I don't know its actual name.
Clockwork Keeper.
Clockwork Keeper.
hmm
He's pushing that in. He's at 3 points right now to
And he's probably
none.
gonna gust here. Yep, he's just gonna gust here just to stem the bleeding of it all. Basically, how the Dazzling Aurora deck just kind of wants to win the game is just to remove any type of how do you say lore advantage they not lore sorry point advantage they can get. Make sure that the early game is taken care of because eventually the Dazzling Aurora deck is just going to overpower with just all these big drops turn after turn after turn.
I agree, but the Mastery player did a really good job at he actually drew a card twice off of that Clockwork, and he knew it was going to get gusted, so he figured it basically just drew him 2 cards and put back 2 runes. Your opponent's not really on anything really threatening right now, so might as well just get your card draw.
Yeah, because the easiest way to match like the card for card power that like Jimmy has is just having more cards available because the Master Yi deck is slightly smaller, so they get to play a little more cards, compared to the one card a turn the Misfortune would obviously do every turn.
We have our Deadbloom Predator just took over the Poro lane, got ourselves 2 points in this turn. We are putting our Mind Splitter in a battlefield. We're going to pick it back up with the gear, which I really do like because now next turn we can play it again, and we got a point off it. We can look at their hand, rip a card, and we protected it because we know they have a Deadbloom Predator in their hand. Those of you who don't know, Deadbloom Predator, it is a unit that you can play to a battlefield if your opponent controls it. So it has pseudo accelerate, basically. You can just drop it straight on of your opponent's field, start a showdown, and try to remove their cards.
Yep, and it's a big chonky boy. It's 8, and also the biggest thing, one of the coolest things, it has deflect, and deflect is really strong versus stuff like Kaisa, and even stuff with just any targeting in general.
So we're playing our Clockwork Golem again. We're going to use it to draw a card. We're really searching here. We know we have the Mind Splitter next turn, so anything that we want to keep, we really want it to hit the battlefield now.
Now this turn, or else it's going to be discarded off the Mind Splitter. That's the thing. I really think that one of the coolest parts about the Misfortune deck is just all these big creatures, even without the Dazzling Aurora, they're solid creatures. Mind Splitter is absolutely nuts, just being able to discard and getting information just like that, plus being a big body.
I think Mind Splitter is definitely one of the sleeper cards in the early formats, where now we're realizing just purple decks, like even Yasuo, just like to play a Mind Splitter to see your opponent's hand and rip a card. It puts you in such a good
To set up for like an OTK or to set up for the double conquer that is so, important in a lot of these matchups.
That's why Misfortune, it is different when it plays Aurora because it either gets Aurora and it wins, or it doesn't get Aurora and it's kind of really rough. But when it does get Aurora, it's basically like it's a guaranteed win because
like
you get so
win.
many rips. Master Yi, when it gets Aurora, it's
not a
as
guaranteed
strong.
win. Yeah. Because they have to play a bunch of like little mid-range creatures and stuff like that. Like almost every single creature that Misfortune can summon is just like a +1 in some sense.
He's getting rid of the Predator. He has a Rune Prison and a Deny. So it wasn't a Charm he had in his hand. It was a Deny.
Okay. And it looks like Malik is at 3 points and the Misfortune is at two. It's important here. Malik just needs to be able to hold as much as possible versus Jimmy. The +2 from Master Yi's ability is very strong. Stops the Mind Splitter from going in and trying to do anything.
Our hand is pretty weak right now. We have a counter spell.
Oh, and here's another Gust.
Honestly, we like that Gust happening because we can play that card back to recycle for a new card, and we still have a body in order to attack and get the point anyway.
Yeah, we just need to be able to pressure every single turn. We're happy that he's using these Gusts here because,
he does go for the draw, which I think is fine.
Yeah.
He could have held that Gust for a better opportunity because, honestly, he's playing in the Mashi's game plan a little bit, but he can pick up the Mind Splitter every single turn and play it down and protect it, basically. So his next turn, he'll push the Mind Splitter, kill the Clockwork, pick it up and play it, and then rip a card, but you are letting your opponent get points as well. But in this simplified game state where you don't have much in your hand, you just have to kind of just keep bouncing the Mind Splitter and ripping cards from their hand. So you have one card.
Oh, wow. We are in
and we got the
my
Aurora.
goodness gracious. Dazzling Aurora. This is the all-star of the Misfortune deck. It's literally the reason to play it. You get to basically reveal the top cards of your deck every turn and put a creature into play. And if all your creatures are above like 6-7 mana, it's just going to be advantageous every single time.
So we do attack with our Mind Splitter here. There's really no threat in yellow-green, but you always want to make sure you play Aurora last because your opponent cannot respond to you playing a gear with an action card because it's on a showdown. It doesn't really matter in this matchup, but you always want to attack with your Mind Splitter, keep up your mana, bait that you have stuff, and then after the showdowns end, then you can drop the Aurora, but it really doesn't matter because we know the opponent's hand. He has a stun and a charm, so and there's nothing in yellow-green that really that will kind of threaten this Aurora right now.
But he can charm the Mind Splitter into...
Oh, I missed all the cards. It's not a charm, he has a deny.
Oh, deny. Okay.
Which charm would be way better for him
Would
in
be
this situation.
absolutely really good. It'd be one of the things actually just keeping him in the game here. And let's see what he reveals.
Dead Bloom off the top would be really nice, but I don't mind another Mind Splitter to rip a card. Either or is fine. No, that's fine.
There you go. That's
nice.
perfectly
Mind Splitter.
fine.
So he has the On Guard. I would get rid of the On Guard. Nice. Because we don't really have any spells right now that we care about him denying. So he's basically
we're literally just playing off the top of our deck. Dazzling Aurora is here to just carry us for the rest of the game. We don't care about our cards getting negated or anything like that because we're summoning them off of Aurora.
The big problem here is he's on 7, and he can hold to get that game point. Mashi is just enough by himself to defend. We have one negate, so it does matter. Oh, we have the Kiana. Kiana in base. I agree with stacking all the points on the one, having the Kiana. We don't want to give it to free for a Mind Splitter. Who cares if we sack the Kiana at this point? It is the end of the game. Let's not make it so that one Mind Splitter clears one and then our Mashi has to defend on his own. Let's have it so that both places contest the Mind Splitter. So we have to get a big card drop off here. If we get a Dead Bloom, if we get a tiny spell, it's pretty bad because we know we left him with the deny for the whole game. So Fireflight would probably be the worst draw you can have here because it absolutely does nothing. The best draw he could get here is a Predator. He is really thinking about it, though. Okay, he has the Predator. That was a great draw. Takes out the Master Yi. He's holding Master Yi. I feel like he doesn't have anything if he's going to hold Master Yi like that, and he's gone. So that was the absolute best draw he could have gotten in his deck.
Yeah.
So he's going to pick the... So he has the Predator traded.
And then the 2 Mind Splitters can just take over the other battlefield, right? That's 14 might.
Yeah, he would have definitely protected the Master Yi instead there of all of those cards. So take out 1 Mind Splitter. At this point, Master Yi has 7 points, but it's kind of impossible for him to come back from this spot when we have Aurora every turn.
Yeah, the Aurora every turn is just too much when Yeah, and right now he's just stacking up everything, trying to get the double hold. Just playing that gigantic dragon creature. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's literally just a vanilla 10 might guy. It's a Mountain Drake. Uh, Aurora players kind of just started playing this guy.
It's just a hard to remove creature that just
He does nothing. He's just fat.
just gigantically big. He goes over the top of pretty much everything. He eats other dead bloom predators. He eats all the mind splitters.
I like holding because the really great thing about Misfortune with this Aurora deck is all your creatures have ganking because of your Misfortune Legend. So he gets to double hold a place, and he does have a Dead Bloom. So he had to play the Dead Bloom in base. That would have just destroyed the Mind Splitter if he played the Mountain Drake somewhere else. But because you are the Misfortune variant of this deck, you do get to double hold with both creatures, but then gank one over into somewhere else in order to do something. So we're picking up and replaying our
Ugh,
Mind Splitter.
Another mind splitter coming down.
That is another reason why to play the gear package. Mind Splitter is the best card in the deck. If you get to Mind Splitter every single turn, you're just ripping a card from your opponent's hand while you
Have a 7/7 that is just threatening by itself.
yeah, it's also basically free movement because you can move something. You can move the Mind Splitter to fight and then pick it up out of the base, protect it, play it down. If you're at this late game right here and you have the combo with the gear and the other gear or the gear and the Mind Splitter, you're basically having actions to do every turn even when you have no cards because you're setting up those actions on your board.
Yeah, and he's just going for the double hold here. He's just stacking up units. It's really hard for this point for the Master Yi here to win. The Master Yi deck is like the type of deck that kind of wants to be in control most of the game, and the moment it kind of loses control, that's where it's hard to fight back. You can't really be on the back foot.
And that is why they started playing the Mountain Drakes because Mountain Drake is bigger than
Deadbloom Predator, which
Predator
is
and
one
all
of the
these guys.
easiest ways to get back tempo.
What could have been that card that he just drew? We have one deny that's been useless this entire game.
What's crazy is this is really just off the back of one Dazzling Aurora. You know what I mean?
It's actually off the back of this one Mind Splitter.
Yeah.
Replaying the Mind Splitter early game gave him the tempo to wait for the Aurora. But you are totally right. If he didn't get that Aurora, he was in a really bad spot.
And that's the important part about this Misfortune deck. You need to find the lines to basically try to live as long as possible, give you the most amount of time, because you are, in my opinion, one of the best late game decks possible.
Wow, he did have a good play there. He accelerated the Fey Folk in and decided to go with the Fey Folk and the Deadbloom Predator to clear out the Mountain Drake, which he had to do that. He was going to lose. Being able to defend alone makes him get the Mastery buff, so he can defend against some other things that are pushing in. What the Misfortune player can do is you have your legend. You can move Mind Splitter back to your base, give Deadbloom ganking, play Misfortune Accelerated, attack Misfortune Accelerated into the right battlefield, and then move both the ganking Deadbloom and the readied Mind Splitter in your base and move both of them into the Fey Folk. Misfortune Champion. So the Misfortune Champion, is the play he's deciding on. He's giving it ganking. The Misfortune Champion, when it attacks, it is able to give something ready another unit. So we're just moving the Deadbloom Predator in there just to trade 1-for-1.
And man, Malique is at 7 points. He just needs to be able to hold one battlefield for just one turn to get it. Oh man, and the second Aurora coming down.
That's when you know the fate is sealed and the game is done. Yeah, he's just
packed it up.
He's
and there you go. Off the back of multiple Auroras, Jimmy has won. That is the matchup: Aurora versus Misfortune. Not Misfortune versus Master Yi. Master Yi is a little bit of a slower deck, so it gives Aurora a little bit of this time to just take over and just go. Whoosh, whoosh.
And the reason why Master Yi is a little weak into Misfortune Aurora is because of all the early game bounce cards that can Gus is so good in the early game, taking them off the push point and the hold point and putting a card back to their hands. You have to play it again, waste their mana, and fight or flight. But we actually did not really see that much of the early game bounce spells. Instead, we were seeing him kind of rely on those
The
gears.
draw cards, and the draw cards were good because he got to Aurora the turns he needed to get to it, and that's the most important part. I think one of the most interesting parts of that game was the double obelisk of power.
Yeah.
Game 2, that was basically just more ramp for both players. You know, if Malique had a much more aggressive start at the beginning to take advantage of that 5 mana to start, maybe something could have been done, like a double 2-drop. 2-drop and a 3-drop would have been really strong. But just starting off with a stalwart Poro is not what you want to be doing when both players have 2 extra mana.
Yeah. We are going into game 3 here with Mashi with 1 win off game 1, and the Misfortune player also getting 1 win in that last round. So let's see what battlefields they've decided to pick. Oh, I know him actually. So we have the climb for Misfortune, which is such a broken battlefield. You
Yeah.
have to get 9 points to win the game.
Aspirin's Climb, really. That's actually one of my favorite battlefields. It literally just breaks the game because the trying to get to like 2, 4, 6, 8 is totally changed because of Aspirin's Climb. It's a totally different point break that makes it really, really just interesting.
And then the Master Chief player is playing the Grove. When you hold here, you get to draw 1 card. So early game, it's basically free card advantage over a Misfortune deck like that.
That can't really pressure a battlefield unless it uses any of its bounce cards.
We use our stack decks. It might feel silly here, but I really feel like getting Aurora part of our gear package or Gust. And I think that is the one that he took. So we use stack deck in order to look at the top 3 cards of his deck. Oh, Grove. Forgot the full name.
Grove of the God Willow.
And he did draw the Gust off of the stack deck. So he went to push in, responded with the Gust, but then Mastery always has those pump spells, so he responded with a pump spell in order to get him bigger than the Gust. Gust is put a 3-might unit back into your opponent's hand that's at a battlefield, but the Mastery player responded and gave his guy plus 2 might to put him at 4, so the Gust fizzles and honestly doesn't go through. Getting that Gust right here does keep Mastery off 2 full points because it stops the push, stops the hold, so it was really nice for the Mastery that he was able to avoid that. Do you know what that buff card is called? I forgot.
Which one?
2 mana, buff by 2, draw 1 card. That was the card that he just used. We have a Sabotage. Let's see. We have Ride the Winds, Fight or Flight, Mind Splitter. Honestly, get the Mind Splitter back would be nice.
And again,
actually, Sabotage only does spells.
the spells, yes, I was about to say that. And I was also going to say there's no Dazzling Aurora in Jimmy's hand. So now we are just playing a fair game right now. Obviously, the Mind Splitter is going to come down, interrupt the stuff, but hopefully Malique has set up enough points to, try to get this advantage going.
That's the biggest problem with Misfortune Aurora is you get Aurora and you're just so strong, but you don't get Aurora and you're weaker than the Yi Aurora deck.
The Master Yi decks. All right, here's the Dead Bloom Predator coming in.
Nice. That must have been the top deck, which was a really good top deck for us.
Yeah, really good top deck because just having the Malique really, really wanted to be able to hold here because he just wants to keep getting new cards. And if Jimmy starts being able to hold here at the Grove, that's just extra cards, which leads more into drawing into Aurora.
Yeah, it must feel really bad from the Mastery player looking at their hand, knowing you have the Grove, and then them top decking the Dead Bloom and pushing you out.
Yeah.
Because you want those extra cards. Looks like we have a White Flame Protector in our hand. We're deciding just to kind of get our board ready. We're getting 2 of our 2 drops up. We have our Poro. Because next turn we can use one of those and we can buff it with the Dead Bloom Predator. We're going to attack into the climb. If he had enough mana, he'd definitely probably want to activate the White Flame Protector right now. He's just going to settle for non-accelerating the Fey Folk. Oh, he's going to accelerate.
No.
Oh, no, he could play it there if he wants to because he controls.
Yeah.
So non-accelerated Fey Folk in the back, just decide where he wants that extra Fey Folk power next turn when he is most likely going to White Flame. The problem with that line of play is that we know he has the Mind Splitter, so he... Oh, we have 2 White Flames, so... Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
we get to keep it.
We got to keep one. The White Flame guarantees at least, we got to push over something. That's important. That's what was really important in this matchup, I think, is, early game, you get the Stalwart Poros, you get these little guys going, and then you're able to use, like, the White Flame Protectors to kind of, like, trade up and then be able to, push through the big walls that he's been setting up here.
And that's why the Misfortune ganking ability is also good too, because you're putting him off the little people. So we were able to just move our Dead Bloom into our top battlefield here and push him off of the hold point and get a point for ourselves.
Yeah.
Manually playing the big cards does help the Misfortune deck. The problem is when you get all of the bounce cards and utility cards or ramp cards and none of the big guys and you don't get Aurora.
Then you kind of just like move your wheels and end up not doing enough to actually win the game. That's the cool part about a lot of these like big ramp decks. If you get to the point where you can summon these ramp monsters, these monsters you try to ramp into, you functionally become a good deck again. But really, like, just off the back of just constant +1s from, what is it called, Mind Splitter, and from Dead Bloom Predator, even if he's not resolving Aurora, he's still just getting these, like, +1s that this Master Yi deck can't afford. The Master Yi deck needs to be up against this Misfortune deck as much as possible.
Mind Splitter is just the reason to play Purple and Misfortune.
Yeah.
It's not the biggest creature. It's down a little mite, but it's really big in like your advantage in game knowledge. Because a good player, seeing the opponent's hand, you are mapping out your next couple turns how you're playing. So that information is so unfair when you actually know what's going to come down in the following turns.
Yeah, in the hands of a really good player, or you have the ability to like manufacture a game state that you want. A card like Mind Splitter is absolutely insane.
Mind Splitter is different from Sabotage in 2 main ways. Sabotage only doing spells and recycling. But the other way is that Mind Splitter puts it to the graveyard instead of back to the deck. So it doesn't recycle it, puts it to the grave. So that's why when Misfortune is playing versus in any matchup, Rebuke is super good versus the Misfortune deck. Even if you Mind Splitter that Rebuke away or you Mind Splitter some of their spells away, they can always play their Annie from their champion zone in order to get that card back. But being Misfortune, you got both. You can Mind Split, and then after you see their hand, then you can Sabotage.
That's true. That's actually a pretty gnarly like combination of cards you can have in your deck.
It is.
Mind Splitter and Sabotage. Because like that's the thing. This card is so powerful in any type of game. Just limiting your opponent's options.
Yeah, why try to win showdowns when we can just take their cards?
Take the best card out of their hand every time.
Take them away. And that is why I...
Okay, and he gets a double hold here. Gets to draw the extra card off of the Willow.
Dude, holding this Willow for multiple turns is going to be so bad for the Misfortune player.
I am always scared to play that card. I know how good it is, but it's always the catch-22. When you have it and your opponent is taking advantage of it, it is just a miserable time.
Normally, Yi is good at holding it, but top decking that Dead Bloom
was really needed for Jimmy.
That was devastating. We got the Aurora basically off of the extra cards that we drew off of the Grove. And this is just going to win us the game. So getting the extra
Ooh, here we
holds,
go. Here's the volley bear.
getting the extra hold from the Grove, getting those cards did put us in Aurora range. And now we're in the driver's seat again. One Aurora is all you need.
Man, I really, really just want to play Misfortune because I think that volley bear is sick. It is one of the
Yeah.
biggest, fattest creatures ever.
We know that there's only one more Aurora he could possibly draw because off that last Aurora,
He revealed it.
he revealed the Aurora and had to put it to the bottom. So we know that if he gets, he could get another Aurora, but we know it's not as likely now. Mashi's really thinking about its combat here.
Yeah.
Probably pushing into the Predator, try to take that down. But again, Misfortune gives ganking. So no matter where you go, you can't run. There are no wards in this game.
Actually, I'm so interested. I really do hope wards come into this game somehow. I don't know what it would do. It'd be a really cool effect.
Maybe it's like a gear you put to a battlefield and your opponent can't gank it.
Yeah, or like reveal hidden cards.
Oh yeah, that too. Some hidden hate.
We need more of that.
Okay, so we're just building up a big board here. We even just
Yep, that big volley bear, that's one of my favorite cards, and it's such a big monster.
we're going to clear the Volibear. We did the White Flame Protector on our Fey Folk, and we get to get some mana back from that.
It's important here because Malique just needs to be able to break this up right now, and he really needs to. For him to get back in the game, he needs to fight for this Willow. Just being able to hold and draw extra cards, he needs it, and we also have to remember that we're on Aspirant's Climb this game, so it's getting to 9.
Honestly, the climb in this position is in the Master Yi's favor
because
he got behind.
yes.
Now, against these Misfortunes decks, you always have to think about it, that they have a certain number of creatures in their deck. So we got rid of 1 Mind Splitter, 1 Volley. So we only have a certain amount. This particular deck list is probably running like 2 Volleys, 3 Mind Splitter, 3 Dead Bloom, and 2 of the Mountain Drakes.
The Mountain Drake.
So if you can hold out early game and get some of those creatures away from him,
then you can kind of predict what the Aurora is going to summon, or the Aurora is just not going to be able to summon, the best creatures all the time because it's used up a lot of the stuff.
we are in overtime here. Time was called a couple minutes ago. So these players only have a couple more turns left on the clock to see who takes this game. The way time works in Riftbound is when time is called, there is a 0 to 5 turn clock, which is really a 6 turn clock. Starting on the player who's playing right now, that's turn 0. When you pass, it's turn 1. And when you go all the way up to 6 turns, the game ends. And basically, whoever is winning the game wins that match. And then you check, which player has more wins. And then whichever player has more wins wins the game. It has been really clear to see that whenever the Misfortune that gets Aurora, they are in the driver's seat. The last creature that was played was a Anivia. When Anivia attacks, she is a 8-might person. When she
Does
attacks,
3 damage to everything on the battlefield, right?
So he was able to clear off. He went for a hold with a bunch of smaller units, and he was able to clear that. The Mind Splitter, this is probably the game here, getting out the other White Flame Protector. He still has a Primal Strength in his hand, which is 4 and 1 power, and it gives a creature +7 might for the turn, which is a crazy amount of might.
That's a mind splitter.
Yeah, it is. I do agree with taking the Protector more because it is an 8 power, or was it 6 power? No, it's an 8 power body, and it also gives the 8 buff. So I do agree with taking away the body from stop him from developing, but him being able to use the Primal Strength in showdowns is still very strong as well. So it's all up to the E right now. We have a pretty okay hand. Let's just see what we can do here.
Just remember, the misfortune is at 7 right now, so the 2 point break, the 2 point threshold is there, being able to go 8 to 9. So maybe Jimmy's able to come back on the next turn, but we don't know. Malik's at 5 right now. Still has a long way ahead of him to start getting to a lethal range, but he's just trying to set up as many possible creatures on board as possible. It looks like he's
Two buff draw card. He's putting the White Flame up to 10. So we have 15 over there on the side of the Misfortune, and then we have a 10 and a 2 right now, a 12 on the side of the Yi. We're definitely just going to attack in here and play the Primal Strength with our Prio.
Okay.
If we have a fight or flight here, it is the most sad thing you've ever seen in your entire life. And it looks like he does.
I think he does have the fight or flight.
If we have a deny,
Right
we
there.
drew deny off that one card we drew.
Oh,
wow, we did top
got
deck the deny. That's crazy.
Yep, he put himself in this position. He drew the card he needed, the deny to able to shove through that damage.
Yeah.
And right now, it looks like Malique is in a really good spot. There's no creatures on the Misfortune's end.
Drawing the deny is absolutely wild.
Yeah.
Off the top there.
Sometimes you just have to play to your out, and that seemed like the only card he had, and he had it.
Yeah, you took out 2 big creatures. You're at 6 power, so even if you hold next turn, you don't win. So actually, this is when the Aspirant's Climb is coming back for the Misfortune. So hopefully what we're going to try to do here as Misfortune is we're going to try to play like 1 big creature and then Aurora this turn, and then maybe play your Misfortune, taking out the Room Prison. That was the only card in the hand. Oh, it seems like we don't have that many cards. We have a
What does the Aurora need to hit that would be the most advantageous for Jimmy?
I think a Volibear. Or no, a Mountain Drake. Get
Mountain
a
Drake?
Mountain Drake, and then you could rush it in with your Misfortune. Because if you play Volibear now and then you play Misfortune, you can attack with Volibear and Misfortune into the White Flame Protector and clear it, and then ready one of your other bigger units to try to gank it over once you control that battlefield. So right now we have to play a unit and get a unit off of Aurora.
This double hold is not going to be. Oh, wow. And it's just past.
Ooh, that is good. Getting the Dead Bloom, getting him off the double hold, so he's going up to 7. But we're in the same kind of terrible situation before that. If he is able to top deck a good card to push that that Dead Bloom out, we're going up to 8.
8. And we just need to be able to hold just one of the battlefields to be able to win here.
But we know he really is that he has 1 card in hand. So it depends. Maybe Tasty Feyfolk would be a really good drop to get. What does he have? He's using 2 mana. Maybe it's a card that draws 1. What is that card? Is that Charm? It is Charm.
It is Charm. Oh, wow.
So he's charming that guy
Forcing the trade. Forcing the trade, going to go for...
Ride the Wind. I agree. That's a good Ride the Wind. Because the Dead Bloom Predator is smaller because the Mastery buffs the...
Oh, you're right. It is because he moved it to the battlefield. Is getting the +2.
He is alone.
Wow, that is a nuts little play from Malique there.
It is a little unfortunate that he did have the ride the win for the Master Chief player. He is
He,
going into attack. Primal Strength? Primal Strength.
ooh.
Really, Primal Strength off the top. That Debloom had nowhere to run. Maybe you put the Debloom in base? I don't know. I like pushing it back there. It's just rough to play around the second Primal Strength like that.
Yeah, but then you also have to understand he's at 8 right now, right? So then if he was able to hold with a dead bloom, he would win the game. He had to have primal strength, right? Or
Yeah,
any type of buff or anything like that.
I think he had to have Primal Strength because it was
Yeah.
so small. He only had 2 tiny
And,
idiots.
and I think playing for the win at that point is what you needed to do because he's already on the back foot here. You know what I mean? He's preying off the top for a dazzling aurora. I think it's correct to put him on. Better have primal strength because that was going to be the win if Malique did not have that card.
The problem now with our game plan as Misfortune is we have not developed our Misfortune on the field. She has Accelerate, but when she attacks, she readies an unreadied unit, and we want to have a creature on the field to move around, or if we played it this turn and then moved our Misfortune, we can then basically give it pseudo-Accelerate. But in this position right now, we don't have anything that we can do with our Accelerated Misfortune except to crash. So I think we're just gonna scoop it. Yeah, we've decided there was really nothing to do. We couldn't hold anything. Even if we got a thing off Aurora. The Misfortune, which is the left side player. Yeah.
Misfortune 1?
Yeah, Misfortune 1. That's why you play the Misfortune Aurora deck, because when you get that Aurora, you win so hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was game or match 1 here at the People's Card Shop. We have locals here every Sunday and Monday, or Saturday and Monday for Riftbound. So come on over and play at the shop. This shop is really highly competitive for a bunch of different card games. Yu-Gi-Oh, Lorcana, Pokemon,
One Piece.
So this is just another edition. So right now we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with match number 2 soon.